Put your hard hat on. Clock in. Don't look up until you clock out.
I don't care the situation. We play until this clock hits 0.
Beat anybody, anywhere, on any time zone.
Welcome back to First Take on a Feel Good Friday. I mean, who is better than us? 75 degrees, sunny, here on the Clemson campus. We got a DJ. Everybody's having a good old time. A great slate of college football this Saturday and some major matchups on Sunday. Thank you all so much for being here. Let's talk some NFL. Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson has been balling this season, up 12 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his first 5 games. They face Baker and the Browns, coming off a blowout loss in San Francisco. That was right here on ESPN on Monday Night Football. Stephen A., is it fair to say Baker Mayfield will never be Russell Wilson?
Yeah, I'd say that. I don't believe that but it's not a knock against Baker Mayfield in any way. I think Russell Wilson is that great. I think that he's a Super Bowl champion. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. I think his ability to extend plays, to take the punishment that he's taken, to avoid the punishment as adroitly as he has throughout the years, to be a leader, to be somebody that was maligned because that was once the franchise that belonged to the Legion of Boom. You're talking about a franchise that some people believe lost the Super Bowl. And Max, you know where I'm going. I reported this on many occasions. You have a lot of people that believe they blew that Super Bowl because they wanted Russell Wilson to be the hero instead of handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch, beast mode, from the half-yard line. And that franchise never covered. I don't give a damn what Richard Sherman, Earl Wagner, Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, all of these guys. I love them. I don't care what they say. One of these days,
what they say publicly.
they're gonna write a book. One of these days, they're gonna write a book, or there's gonna be some 30 for 30, and somebody's gonna admit publicly, Pete Carroll, Darrell Bevell, they called Beast Mode's number. They should have called Beast Mode's number from the half-yard line and didn't do it because they wanted Russell Wilson to be the star. And I'm telling you right now, Russell Wilson has had to overcome all of that. And to be the steady leader and producer that he has been, as far as I'm concerned, he's been the best quarterback in the NFC. He's a top 2 candidate for league MVP honors. He's been absolutely sensational. I see Baker Mayfield doing well in the NFL eventually. I do not see him being that.
It's unlikely, because it's unlikely that any player ever is a Super Bowl champion and a top 5 quarterback in the NFL for half a decade and counting. That's just an unlikely thing to be. But I wouldn't say it's impossible. Baker Mayfield has, first of all, he'll never run like Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson can do things on broken plays that a lot of other guys who ever lived can't. But Russell Wilson, some air under that ball. Like, I wouldn't say he throws the prettiest spiral I've ever seen. And Baker Mayfield, I've already seen operate on an elite level, albeit versus bad teams in the second half of last year. But he was an elite NFL quarterback in his rookie season, in the second half of his rookie season. So it's in there somewhere, I think. So I can't rule him out. It doesn't mean that he has to be exactly the same kind of quarterback Russell Wilson is just because they're both short by quarterback standards. But could Baker Mayfield be a top 5 quarterback one day and retain that position for, 4 or 5 years? Yeah, I think that's possible. Could he win a Super Bowl? I think that's possible, sure.
Let me ask you this, Stephen A. Is this a must-win for this Browns team after what we just saw on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I think so. Now, credit to the Browns. They haven't lost back-to-back games. They may not have won back-to-back games this year, but they haven't lost back-to-back games either. They've been consistently inconsistent. We recognize that. But I think in this particular instance, when you're going against heftier competition, here's what I mean by it's a must-win. The schedule gets considerably weaker in the second half of the season. So we anticipate that the Browns are going to win most of their final 8 games.
Yep.
But when you're going up against this level of competition and when you have the things said about you that is being said about you in terms of dysfunctionality, feeling yourself, sticking out your chest before you accomplished anything, et cetera, when you go on Monday Night Football and you get punched in the mouth, and you follow that up by getting punched in the mouth again, ultimately that veneer that you've been walking around with begins to disintegrate before your very eyes. And that's what I think is in danger of happening to the Browns right now. They need to stop this internal bleeding. They need to show up and show out to stop all of this noise from being made.
I would say it's a real good idea to win, but not a must win, and I don't think they're going to win. I thought, looking at the schedule coming into this year, I thought the right number over-under wins for the Browns was 9. And I thought there was a good chance they could be 2-5 after 7 games. It'd be a much better idea if they were 3-4 or 4-3, but that ship has sailed, right? Because here come the Seahawks, then the Patriots, then they go to the Broncos. I mean, if they're hosting the Broncos, that's one thing, but it's a tougher game, you know, when you get the altitude. And after the Broncos, it's the Bills' defense. So I'll say this. In the next 4 games, they must win 2 of them. But this, they don't necessarily have to win here. They could lose here, they could lose to the Patriots, and then they got to beat the Broncos and the Bills, right? So this is like a pretty good idea to win this game. I can't say it's must win.
But like Stephen A. said, I feel like we really don't know who this team is because they're so inconsistent and it's so drastic. Yeah. Either so dominant or the blowout like we saw the 31-3 Monday night. All right, Russell Wilson leads the league in touchdowns with 12 quietly. Baker leads the league with interceptions. That would be 8. When First Take returns, much more from Clemson. The party just getting started. Don't forget, we have our ACC Network show right after this. Will Carson Wentz and the underdog Eagles steal a win in Minnesota this weekend? Week 6 game picks are coming up, and we are only minutes away from Dabo Sweeney joining us. Do not go anywhere. More First Take from Bowman Field.
Hey, First Take, welcome to Clemson. Go Tigers.
Welcome to Clemson, boys.
Welcome to Clemson.
Hey, First Take, welcome to